We're getting guests from around the world. I'm in South Carolina, United States. Mariam is in the south of France. Romain is in Florida. Jakub is coming to us from Poland, which is where GetResponse is headquartered. And then I know that we have attendees from all across the globe. So whatever time zone you're in, we appreciate your taking the time to join. What is GetResponse? First of all, if you're not familiar with GetResponse, we're a full-orbed marketing platform, email, marketing website builder, marketing automation tools, conversion funnels, and as we will be discussing today, ad creation for Google and Facebook. Now, Google has created a new ad type that has quickly revealed itself to be one of the most effective ways to produce high quality leads fast. And Romain is going to discuss this in detail. And we believe this ad format is absolutely crucial for bringing high quality leads to your website, to your store, because this isn't just advertising. This is lead generation as we've never seen it before. So we'll explain why and then show you how with a live demo right here on the webinar. And at the end, we've allotted time for you to ask questions so you can leave today's webinar with 100% confidence on how to proceed. I lead marketing partnership efforts here at GetResponse, and my colleague Jakub is on the call today as well. He's the product manager for GetResponse's ad creator. So he's the brains behind the product. And I'm going to change this poll real quick because we're getting a lot of results. Most of you are looking to drive website visits, but of course there's a handful of you who are wanting to get phone calls, increase in-store visits, and maybe something different. So let me queue up another question. And as we do this, I'm going to make sure that we get a proper introduction. Mariam is going to introduce her team along with the purpose of this partnership. So, Mariam, I'll hand it over to you.
So I can, you should hear me now. Hi everyone. I'm super excited to be here today. My name is Mariam and I work as the strategic partner manager at Google, supporting the GetResponse ads partnership, which we'll dive into today. I'm dialing in today from the beautiful south of France, as Daniel mentioned, but actually I'm based in Germany. We are pleased to have GetResponse as a Google partner. GetResponse has the product knowledge, technical expertise, and the drive to help their customers build online success through the solution together with Google Ads. I'm really looking forward to diving in here with all of you, as I'm very passionate about helping businesses grow. We also have here our amazing product expert, Romain, but I will let him introduce himself. Romain will be taking you through the importance of Google Ads for growing your business and show you how to generate and nurture leads. But before we kick off, there's one more thing I would like to mention here. If you like what you see today and want to try it out, we have a nice goodie for you. For every newly created account, we'll match the amount you spend up to $150. So please be aware that this value will be adapted to the market you are based in. We will automatically apply the voucher in every new account created through the GetResponse Google Ads integration. So this is super easy, no paperwork required. We have worked on this integration with GetResponse and everything will work simply and automatically for you. Okay, with this, over to you, Romain.
Thanks a lot, Mariam. Thanks, Danielle, as well. Hello, everyone. So I'm Romain. I'm based in technically New York City. I'm now in Miami, in Florida, in the US. I've been working at Google for more than 10 years. I am a strategic partner development manager and product expert on the lead gen space. So I lead the lead gen effort for channel sales partnership. And I'm very pleased to be with you today. I'm not sure, Daniel, if we're gonna jump into the slide right away. Let me know if I can start as well presenting. All right, do I have access to the slide? All right, fantastic. Maya, do you wanna cover quickly the agenda?
Sure. So our agenda for today is the quick introduction that we got already and why we are here. We talked about this. And now Romain is going to cover Google Ads and the lead form extensions. We'll then see a demo by GetResponse by Daniel, and then how and why to sign up today. At the end, we'll have time for a Q&A, so any questions you have, you can keep them for the end or also pop them in the chat and they're gonna be answered.
All right, I think I can start now. Okay, so let's take a bit of a step back regarding what's going on, right? So we all know that the world is changing, and actually it has changed a lot within the last year, right? I mean, we're all aware that COVID-19, right, updated our world, but zooming out, it mostly accelerated trends already in evidence before the crisis. We very much, let's say, experienced 10 years of change in about 6 months. So there's acceleration regarding digital adoption, digital video streaming, e-commerce, collaboration tool like e-learning, as well as the way to generate lead is more and more via digital, right? They want to take advantage, the consumer, of the digital world in a way we never thought before, right? And with this increased digital adoption, consumer journey as well became messier and more complex. So hopefully, we can take you through this today, and we have some elements of response to tackle this. Let's see, I'm going to move to the next slide. All right, so lead generation landscape has changed as well, right? Whether you specialize in financial services, technology, travel, education, auto, or other type of businesses, right? The proliferation of mobile has made the journey to drive and convert high quality lead even more complex than ever, right? The consumer is curious, more curious than ever. It is as well more demanding. They want to have, more personalized experience, and everything has to be in mobile friendly. As well, the consumer is very impatient. We all are, right? We make decisions very fast. We want to make the decision in a moment. And actually, 85% of the consumers will take a product related action within 24 hours of discovering a product or a service, right, overall. So very much we see this dramatic change happening in the digital space, but overall in the consumer behavior. When it comes to marketers, what do they want? So a couple of studies released this year for 2021, they show that the marketers' goals are highly performance-based, right? The vast majority of the marketers, they want to generate more quality leads, right? So the key goal here, you're going to hear that a lot during the session today, is generating more quality leads. And as well, as you answer as well in the survey at the beginning of the webinar, you want to attract more traffic to your website. So how can we help you to do both, right? I guess that's the question of today. Let's see another trend as well. It is improving lead quality, so having more quality lead, but as well without sacrificing lead volume, right? We see that about 61% of lead gen marketers cite improving the quality of lead as their most important objective, but as well, more than a half, they want to increase the number of leads. So it's basically increasing the volume of high quality leads, right? And for low cost. We want it all, basically, right? It's not easy, it's a challenge, but hopefully, the partnership between GetResponse and Google might help you. Okay, so I said, as I mentioned at the beginning, right, the world has changed and the consumer journey is getting more and more complex, right? It might be a little bit messy as well, so it's very hard to navigate. As a marketer or as an owner of a small business company, then it's kind of hard to know, where to place the cursor and to know exactly, where should I take action. So there's multiple touch points. And that basically implies that new opportunities to drive and convert high quality leads for your business, whether on Google search, whether on YouTube, right, on Gmail, on different properties, right, and different network, you have to be there. But the question is how and when as well. Okay, so I'm gonna now jump into the solution we have developed, partnering with GetResponse. So two main, let's say, solution here: Google Ads overall, and specific ad format, which is called lead format extension. After that, my colleague from GetResponse will take you through a demo of the product, so you'll be able to better understand and visualize exactly how that works. Okay, Google Ads. So Google Ads, for now, we're going to focus on search mostly. So why do we search, right? Okay, maybe going back here. Okay, why do we search? So search connects inspiration with action, right? It's about basically the 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 meeting, right, between the user demand and basically the company answer response, right? So it's a very powerful way to meet your user and to meet your potential lead, right? It is really linking the moment of intent, whether you want to buy something, you're looking for something somewhere, right? You want to have some news or some relevant piece of information. That's pretty much, the mission of Google overall. And it's definitely where we see the starting point in this consumer journey that I showed you in the previous slide. Okay, so visually, for those not very familiar with Google overall, right, on the Google search page, you have the organic search results, which are basically is Google indexing the web with the information, highly relevant information based on the Google the search queries made by the user, right? So here, basically, you have pretty much no control on it. That's very much organic. I mean, you can work on your website, obviously, but I mean, you cannot decide. Then the second one is the Google Ads, which is the paid media, which is what we're covering today. As you can see, the ad display on top of the search, the organic search result, and that is the same approach when it comes to mobile experience. Okay, so you might wonder, how does that work? So this is not a technical product webinar. So I'm not going to go into detail, but just roughly, just to give you a sense of the secret sauce behind it. There's a couple of things. So it's all based on first the keyword. So the users select the keyword where they want the display ad to be displayed. So you will see with GetResponse, you have a very seamless and easy tool to use where you will be able to do that. Google partnering with GetResponse as well. We have machine learning technology in order to as well, decide for you, select for you the right search term and keyword as well. So that's the first step. Second step, you create the ad, right? That's the ad creative. Again, it might be complex. We simplify the process with GetResponse, so it should be something done pretty much automatically, right? With a couple of insights from you guys, but we pretty much do the vast majority of the job here. Last but not least, how it works when it comes to display your ads, and then whether the ranking, it's based on the bidding as well as some quality score signals. So the smart bidding behind it, it's based automatically. We have machine learning technology. We basically learning from the consumer behavior with some intent signals, and then based on that, basically we decide where to place the ad to deliver for you the best performance. So again, the combination of keywords, ads, and bid, this is pretty much how it works. If you have any question, because I see there's a lot of comments here, we're going to take that question at the end with the Q&A session. Okay, lead form, ads, as well as call extension. Okay, so you see before that, I'm going to emphasize again, it's quality versus quantity, right? I mean, we want to have both ideally, a high volume of high quality leads, but the most important thing is really delivering high quality leads, right? And we want to have that at a cheap price, obviously. The return on investment is key here. You see as well the complex journey, right? There's different steps, but several steps, and actually it can take, weeks or even months, depending on your business, to convert these leads into sales, into actual clients, right? So where do you position yourself? Where do you go in order to make that happen? And one of the ways to do it is using our technology and using the machine learning to optimize this lead, high quality lead generation. As well, we provide some pretty robust measurement solution with very transparent reporting. Okay, so the consumer expectation are evolving. This is, kind of complement or what I said as an intro. They want to have very seamless experience, right? Minimal work to reach out to connect. That's key. We're all aware that, you have your core job and you're not, supposed to do that, right? So we do that for you. You want to have as well a very fast experience, right? No delays in mobile load time. This is key. If the time to load the page is more than 3 seconds, usually you're kind of losing the patience of the user, so you might drop. And you want to have a very convenient experience as well, with limited navigation requirement. So this is why, basically, based on this insight, we have developed this search lead form extension, right? This is to basically allow you to connect, right, with your user, with high intent user directly searching for your company, product, or service. This is about reducing friction, right? You have an in-ad form instead of mobile site, and you leverage pre-filled user info. You're going to see that afterwards with some visual, and it's about accelerating, right, the adoption with a seamless connection with your user. Okay, so how does it look like? But then it's pretty simple. It is 100% lead gen format, right? It's about basically collecting data from the user. So usually it is, the name, the phone number, the email address, right? So you have the lead, and then you qualify the lead, and hopefully you can convert it, right? So let's say you search on Google on mobile, right? It could be, I'm a real estate agent. I'm not a real estate agent. I'm looking for, buying an apartment or renting an apartment in Miami, for instance. And then, and you are a real estate agent, right? And then you will be, thanks to this solution, when I type for apartment to rent in Miami, you will be there, right? The user click on the ad, and then it bump into the second step you can see here, which is a Google hosted page. So this is generated by Google. You have pretty much nothing to do here. You can customize though the content of the form. I'm going to show you that later on with some best practices. So you collect the information, and then after that, once the user submit, then you have the confirmation page. And after that, thanks to GetResponse technology, you will be able to retrieve the leads, nurture the lead, right, and potentially convert. So it's good for business, right? Fast, mobile optimized experience. There's no coordination with webmaster needed, right? So it's very much simplified implementation. We're doing the work for you, basically. And it's good for your customer overall, right? It's convenient to complete the form directly from search, very seamless. We pre-populate already the user information, so it should be very straightforward, and it's fast to load and easy to type. Right. Remember, the duration to load the page is key in the user experience on mobile. Okay, so that solution is basically for pretty much every business, whether it's retail, travel, auto, real estate, classify local, jobs and education, finance, or B2B. Right. You can use that form to generate newsletter restriction, loyalty sign up, quote, right? Agent requests, as I mentioned before with the real estate example, event registration, application, interest form. Pretty much, everything. You know that better than we do. This is your own business, but you can adapt basically your marketing goal with this technology. One example, just to make it even more concrete for you guys. Let's take that example in the US, in Florida, with this company, Roadmaster Driving School. So this is an SMB company, right? Their job is, it's a driving school for trucks. Okay, pretty easy so far. And the goal is pretty much what we're all looking for, right? Is basically achieve higher volume of qualified leads at a lower cost, right? Not an easy one. So the approach they took is adding the lead form extension to the search campaign, right? Really to generate lead, capturing demand for interested potential students looking for a new career opportunity. And then thanks basically on the solution, they have achieved pretty significant, I would say, result. We see about 300% increase in conversion volume, so more leads. That's number one. But overall, right, and more important, at a lower cost. right? They have managed to reduce the cost per acquisition about 50%, right? So it's a combination of high quality leads at a lower cost. Okay, some best practice here. So if you're interested, right, and you want to follow up with GetResponse, that will be able obviously to guide you there. But some tips here when it comes to create your lead form ads and a lead form basic the proper form, right? The really key is you need to have a very clear call to action tied to the next step the user would take back submitting the form. So really emphasizing on, what's happening, why we're doing this, right? As well, you can customize the call to action for specific business objective. When it comes to the form specifically, right, we state the call to action in the headline, make it very clear. The business name, obviously, you advertise the name, as well any local regional information, that might be appealing for the user. Remember, is the search on Google, they are very much local, right? I mean, obviously, there's some search not specifically local, but the majority, they're local. And they're more and more local because they're just mobile. People, they're moving and they're just looking for something at the right time, in a specific moment, at that specific time. Description, right? Don't hesitate to really specify the benefits the user would get by submitting the form, right? And as I said before, very highlighting the call to action with, for instance, they can visit the website, they can download a web paper, or they can make a quote, right? This is really important because, the clearer you make it, the easier it is for the user to understand, and the more you're going to get leads out of it, and high quality leads. All right. I'm gonna finish before I hand over to GetResponse about talking about phone calls. So it might be just like a no-brainer, but actually it's good to remember that, right? Phone call is old technology. I mean, it has been running for like decades, obviously. But now what we're doing is we GetResponse in Google is really, connecting a kind of old technology with the new technology together, right? It's about driving via phone call prospective customers. The reason we're doing this is because, again, the vast majority, actually 72% of the internet users, they choose phone calls are the first step to contact businesses, right? I mean, we're all doing that on a day-to-day basis. So you don't want to avoid that solution. It's definitely something we need to take into account. But, it's not necessarily easy to track the call, to report on calls as well, right? It might be complicated. So we're here as well to help you to solve that. Right. So as I said, we can track the performance with call conversions. So you have the call ads or the call extension, fine. We deliver call reporting with very insightful data when it comes to, the call, which ads and which keywords have generated the calls, how long was the call, where was the call made, right? That is really important. And as well, we're not only looking at just like the call generated from the ad, as well, we do look at what's happening on your website. We have some piece of code you can put on your website for the call conversion tracking. So we can make as well the connection between when someone click on the ad, but don't call you, go to the website and then call you, right? So we're looking at remember this kind of a complicated, complex user journey. We try to be there at every touch point. All right, so you're going to see that more in detail with the product demo. But basically, GetResponse, I created this ad creator, very seamless, very easy to navigate experience where you're going to create your Google Ads account, you create the content, so this is pretty much the creative, the audience as well targeting, and then you start an end date and budget, and then you're good to go, right? So hopefully that will help you. First to better understand, what's happening in the landscape and why we're doing this. And second, hopefully the solution as well would be a good way for you to generate leads. I think it's pretty much all for me. Let's see. Right. Yeah, I can hand over to you, Daniel, for the demo.
Here at GetResponse, we've worked very hard to make sure that the process of creating these ads is as simple as can be. So once you see it on my screen, which I'm loading at my screen now, you'll find out how we walk you through the process step by step. Now, there can be some complexity, admittedly, to creating ads. But ideally, in this platform, we've stripped out the complexity, we've made it simple, and we've allowed you to create these lead forms directly within GetResponse. So I'm going to start at the very beginning. And again, walk through this rather quickly because there's a lot of questions coming through, and I want to make sure that we leave plenty of time to answer those questions live. But let's go ahead and start with logging in. Now, if you are not yet a GetResponse customer, we'd recommend that you sign up free. You get 30 days absolutely free. But let's log in as if you are a customer. So here we go. Log in, enter your information, click log in, and you are in. Okay, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to click my menu and go straight to paid ads. Okay, paid ads is under growth tools. It's the fourth one down. Click paid ads. GetResponse offers two types of ads, Facebook and Google. Obviously, today we're talking about Google ads, so I'm going to toggle over to Google ads. Thank you, Tom, for offering feedback, but I'm going to have to close you out. And you can see right now that I have no ads created. This is actually a lie because I create a lot of ads. But the fact is I wanted to start with a clean slate so you can understand if you're doing this for the first time, where the heck do I start? What do I click on? Fairly self-explanatory. Click create ad. This is the screen that you'll be working on for the next few moments as you create your first ad. You want to make sure that you edit your connection. And when you click edit connection, if this is your first time to create Google Ads, we're comping you $150. That's going to be matched to whatever ad spend you do. And if $150 US isn't your currency, then that will be equivalent in whatever currency that you use in your respective country. Okay, I'm going to enter a name for my ad, and I have chosen the innocuous, non-political, and hopefully neutral topic of knitting. Okay, so you're going to see ads for a knitting class. Why knitting? Well, my 13-year-old daughter is teaching herself to knit. So here we go. Learn to knit in 30 minutes. That's the title of my ad. And then I'm going to go to the content, and here's where we're going to add a lot of information. Now, I'm going to recommend that you use a responsive ad. Why responsive? There's several reasons. First of all, this is ideal for ads that are running over a duration of time, not just like 2 days or 2 weeks, but 2 months or longer. Plus, it's optimized according to conversion rate, according to click-through rates. You're getting a constant updating of the ad format that's going to work best. So, headline 1, quick and easy knitting class, fairly appealing. Start knitting in 30 minutes. I'm going to try that for my headline 2. Want to knit? Start here. Discover the joy of knitting. Headline 4. And you want to add as many headlines as possible. The more headlines, the more headline options, the more optimization you can explore as these ads are tested. Okay. Now we're going to go to our URL. I don't have any cool, fun, cute knitting classes, so we're going to use something very boring. I'm sorry, example.com. And then you can optimize your URL here. So let's go ahead and do knitting class. Boom. Okay, descriptions. Here's where we get into some fun. And again, you don't have to be an expert ad copywriter to do this. Just describe in plain language what you're trying to sell, what you're trying to get your customer to do. So I've added a few here. Let's go with everything you need to know about knitting in one short class. Second description, want to learn knitting, take a quick class. I'm going to add more. The more descriptions, the better. Add another one. Become a world-class knitter. Knitting is fun. Okay, so there's my descriptions. There's my headlines. And now we're getting into the meat of what this webinar is all about, which is lead form extensions. Okay, so you see this topic here. Extensions include additional information in your ad to engage your audience even more. I'm going to go ahead and click add. Yes, we want to use lead form extensions. Okay, so I select the list. I'm going to go ahead and pick my task welcome list. This is where the list of leads will be added to. My call to action button here is going to be, let's see, get started. Okay, you can select from the list of pre-populated CTAs. My extension text is, go ahead and type it in here, sign up for your knitting class. And then we're going to go ahead and create your lead form. Okay, the business name here is Knitting for Beginners. So I'm going to add that there. My headline is Knitting in 30 minutes. And description here is ever wanted to knit, no better time than now. Do we have any knitters here? I mean, with hundreds and hundreds of people attending, got to be some of you who are knitting. I don't knit, but my 13-year-old daughter is pretty amazing at it. Okay, we do want to add a phone number. Now, of course, you don't have to add a phone number. It's an optional thing, but as Romain discussed, phone engagement is an absolutely stellar way to increase the quality and quantity of leads, especially for those who are interested in exchanging their phone number. Now, we had a question come through on the chat earlier, which is very important, and I want to address that in specificity here, privacy. Okay, when people are handing over personal information like an email, a name, a phone number, there's going to be some concerns about privacy, correct? So you are required to have a privacy policy when you create an extension, a lead extension. Now, what if you don't have a privacy policy? Copy one, right? Customize it, of course, to what your specific company name and needs are. But these are basically boilerplate descriptions that protect the user's privacy. And obviously, you want to have 100% compliance with the privacy policy that you're stipulating. So we're going to go ahead and add a sample privacy policy link, which does not include actual privacy information. But this is required if you want to create lead form extension ads. The submission message is what comes next. And so I'm going to go ahead and add the thank you headline, such as I can spell, believe me, you are awesome. Thanks. Okay, again, watch the character limit here. You're limited to 30 characters for the headline. Thankfully, 200 for the thank you message. And then you'll want to fill that out with a brief thank you. Now, you can add a call to action. This is optional at the end, but the call to action can consist of several things. 4 specifically: visit site, download, learn more, and shop now. So you'll want to make sure that you click you select the CTA that is relevant to what you are offering your audience. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and visit site, and then we're going to go ahead and go to example again, just to fill out a URL, and done. Okay, one of the helpful things about GetResponse's ad creator using lead form extensions is that you can actually see what this looks like both in mobile and desktop version. So on the right-hand side, as I've been entering information, we're checking out the mobile mock-up of this. See? So for example, the create lead form, knitting for beginners, this is what it's going to look like to your users when they're looking through on their smartphone and identifying this ad. And one of the benefits of lead form extensions is that it is it's not like an interstitial where it's just popping something up and you have to frantically look for that little X button in the upper right-hand corner. They're actually facing this issue and they're like, wow, this is something that I'm engaged in, I'm invested in, and I want to enter my information. Of course, we can toggle to see what the desktop version is like. Again, it's thorough, it's detailed, and you have these various options of what the user is going to input, and then click submit. And then once they're done, they'll receive the thank you message that you've created. So let's go ahead and add our lead form extension. Oh, they don't like that, so we'll turn that and save. Okay. So our lead form extensions are now done, and that's all there is to it. To create lead form extensions and GetResponse is you'll walk through the typical process of creating an ad, go to content, and then make sure you add lead form extensions. So I'm going to just briefly go through the audience creation in case you aren't familiar with GetResponse's ad creation platform. I'll show you exactly how this is done. You choose your languages. And for the sake of what the heck, everybody should be learning knitting, right? Whether you speak Bengali or Croatian. So we're going to apply these languages. We're going to select keywords such as knitting. We're going to eliminate some like, say, crochet. So we're not attracting crochet aficionados. And then we're going to set dates and budget. And this is something also I want to point out with some specificity, because in our experience, some of the best performing ads are those that run indefinitely. Okay. Of course, there are times in the life cycle of your business where you're going to have a promotion, or you're going to have a new offer, or there's a product launch, or there's a big sale, and you want to spawn some ads that are just running for a short duration. At the same time, so many branded ads and products that are just continually on sale are going to want to be generating leads for an indefinite duration of time, for the existence of the business as you optimize over time. And that's the point of running ads for an indefinite period of time. The more data you get, the better feedback you have from these ads, and the better way you have to optimize these ads to lower your cost per conversion, to increase the quality of your leads, and to basically improve your advertising overall. So we're recommending, of course, that you want to run this ad indefinitely rather than a specific duration of time, depending upon your goals, of course. And then you can toggle your daily ad budget according to what you've allocated in your marketing spend. And say a monthly ad budget of, around $1,000 is definitely doable for many small businesses to go ahead and work with. So we're going to save that. And then once we've optimized everything, then you'll see this create ad. And I haven't optimized it completely because of the integration that I was going to do with setting up the account. But this create ad button will be live. It'll be blue. You can create ads and it will start running. And that's simply all there is to it. Now, I know I've gone through that quickly because I tend to talk fast, but I also wanted to make sure that I covered some of the relevant details that are going to be important for you to keep in mind as you create these lead form extensions. But at this point, I want to knock it over to you guys and see what questions you have. I know there are a lot. We won't be able to answer all of them, but in the interest of making sure that we address some of the more important ones, we're going to go ahead and hit some questions. So I'm going to toss it over to you guys again. Just as a reminder, if this is your first time using Google Ads, you got $150 or your equivalent currency to make sure that you get these started without a huge upfront investment cost. Okay, Q&A. Let's go with it, guys. What questions do you have for us? Each of us, Romain, Mariam, Jakub, and I will all be available to answer these questions. Okay, let's go with the payment go. Who does the payment go to, Google or GetResponse? Well, it goes to both of us. I appreciate your concern about that. But if you are a GetResponse customer, of course, we charge for our product, but we're not taking your ad money. That goes straight to Google. Cookies are a big topic right now. How will the optimization be impacted over time if there are restrictions put in place, specifically in the US? Romain, do you have any comments on that?
Yeah, so Google is aligning with, with the change. We're moving to a cookie-less world. That's clear. Right. So one of the solutions we have, and actually it is performing very well, is all the first-party data. So instead of using third-party data, we're using first-party data. So basically, your data you share with us, right? So these are email address, for instance, phone number. We have a solution called Customer Match or similar audience, where that usually via CRM, marketing automation. You can share that information, and we're able to target this audience, or basically target everyone except this specific audience. So yes, Google is definitely taking that very seriously, and we do have solution mostly into the first party data, as well as when it comes to conversion tracking. We're making some improvement of the conversion tracking. This is called enhanced conversion. This is coming very soon as well. You're going to see a lot of change coming up within the next month and year, actually, regarding this.
Good. Helpful. Thank you very much. We're having some questions, a lot of questions actually about the replay. You will receive an email after this webinar that includes the replay. You will be able to watch that on demand. Somebody has asked, Ellie, I believe, is asking the lowest amount of ad spend per day. That is $5. And can you make an ad without a payment? These are paid ads, of course, so it does require some cost. How does the payment work? It's simply connecting your ad account, which is connected, of course, to your credit card or your payment method. So that's how the payment is processed. I believe it's Galib has a question. If I create ad from GetResponse, then will the CPC rate be the same as Google? Any thoughts on that, Romain or Jakub?
Well, the CPC is basically based on your bidding and your quality score and the competition. It has nothing to do with GetResponse, and basically nothing to do with you. I mean, I mean, we decide like a cost per click kind of auction, but then after that is basically the demand, right? And like the demand and the offer who make it happen basically. So be assured, to be clear, that there's no difference of CPC between going directly with Google in the Google Ads front end or going with GetResponse.
Absolutely. To echo that back, Galib, you create your ads in GetResponse, but the ads are hosted by Google. So they're Google ads. You simply create those in GetResponse. How do we connect our Google business account with GetResponse? Jakob, you want to handle that one?
Yeah, sure. Hey. I mean, it's simple as just clicking into, and you need to connect your Google account, choose Google Ads account, and all ads created inside GetResponse will appear inside your Google Ads account, and will use the payment method that you have inside Google Ads account. And that's just like, I don't know, 2 or 3 clicks. So you need to connect and then like authorize, give us access to your Google Ads account. And basically that's it. And I saw some questions about how can I connect, or how can I use my account? And is it like gonna appear anywhere if I use it for my clients? So now, it's people will just see ad content that you create, and then so you can run ads for customers if you want, and there's no like any connection there, just purely on ad content, basically the same way that it works in Google Ads editor. Just from instead of 3 pages, you've got one page with 3 or 5 steps, 3 to 5 steps to create an ad based on what you want.
Absolutely. Okay. Good. Somebody's asking, David, thanks for the question. Do you recommend using an autoresponder in GetResponse in addition to the thank you message given by Google? Any thoughts on that, Jakob?
Yeah, because if you are choosing the list that the list will get into, so you can connect this list with autoresponder. So if someone sign up, use a lead form extension and will sign up to your list, and maybe you can have like specific list for this for this ad, and then set the autoresponder just for those people. For example, you can send them some piece of content, or wherever you want to promote, and give them instead of signing up. So yeah, I don't see any issues here, and that should be like very, very easy to do.
Awesome. Marlene is asking, do Google Ads get any approval like Facebook ads, or is it as simple as I showed? Wondering if we can use the same ad copy we use on Facebook, for example, if we have some already working there. The answer is no. Google Ads do not require the same approval process that Facebook ads require. So you won't have to go through that pending period where Facebook is reviewing your ad. However, I would recommend optimizing your ads for Google rather than for Facebook. There are different character limit requirements, and there are some different audience targeting techniques that you may wish to try. So the answer is approval is not required through Google Ad submissions, but I would recommend tweaking your ad copy a bit. Of course, you can explore with the multi-variant headings and descriptions that you have. Try what's working on Facebook, maybe tweak it a little bit, but go forth and conquer with what you have working on Facebook, and then add some additional ones for Google.
I want to add something here. There is terms of service to approve. If you're new to lead form ads, okay, you need to approve the term of service. Daniel mentioned that at some point in the flow, which is the policy, right? There's privacy policy, obviously, because you got to collect data from the lead form, right? So you need to, at some point, to accept the terms of service. That's very, very easy, very quick to do it. But yes, we do require to approve these terms of service.
Okay. That's helpful. And Romain, if I can keep you on for just a minute, because somebody's asking, and this is again where I'd like to unleash my inner geek and go into full-on ad optimization. But somebody's asking, Robert is saying, is there a best practice scaling up the ad spend in a way that Google likes? Any thoughts on that, since you are what Google likes?
So could you repeat the question? I'm not sure to clearly understand it.
Best practice for scaling ad spend.
Oh, okay. So first, I think, if you can follow the best practice, what we have shared with you when it comes to create the ad copy as well as the lead form, right? That's key. So that's the first step. And then after that, usually Google with the smart bidding will do the job for you when it comes to generate more leads at a really good conversion value, right? Which basically is going to lead to a better cost per lead, right? So that's one thing. Now you can optimize when it comes. You can change your ad copy. You can change as well the content of the form. Do not do it like every hours or every day. Definitely not. Let the campaign run for about 2-3 weeks as a minimum, right? You need to have minimum, let's say 20 to 30 leads, right, to make the smart bidding works behind it, because otherwise we don't have enough information, the machine learning, right, to make the right decision on top of it, right? So I would say really the best practice, first, like work on the foundation of the ad copy and on the lead form, and after that, looking at the data you have, and you can make some change, but do it not often. Do it more on a monthly basis, I would say, depending on the result you get. The rest is pretty easy. Like the lead form, it's made to be managed easily. It's not as complex as, let's say, a search tech ad could be.
Yeah, that's good. And I just want to kind of tap back on that for a minute, Romain, to this question is, how do you scale up, right? We're all interested in scaling up. We want more revenue. We want more clicks. We want better results from our ads. Data. Okay, the data doesn't lie. And thankfully, Google provides you so much data. It can be a little overwhelming at times, but you can look at simple click-through rates, the cost, and then you can tweak things as needed, and that will allow you to scale. So data is primary. That's what you want to look at really on the daily, not necessarily changing things on the daily, but looking. Somebody had a question earlier, and I apologize, I forgot the name, but he or she said, I'm getting about 50 leads a month, and that's making me rich. Well, more power to you. 50 leads a month is great, especially depending on the price point of your product and what you're specifically selling. But you do want to have, you want to build up some collection of leads before you're actually able to make some determinations as to whether this is working or not. I want to address a quick question from Jill. Is there any additional support available? Absolutely, yes. People in the chat have been singing the praises of GetResponse support team. We have a multilingual support team that's available 24/7 to answer your questions. So yes, you will be able to have additional support if you are a GetResponse customer. I'm going to make this remark a little bit off the cuff, but I think it's going to answer some questions that people have. Now, all of us that you're looking at here, Romain, Jakub, and myself, are in the technical industry, right? Romain and Jakub heavily invested in product, myself doing a lot of advertising, marketing, etc. But I'm not really a technical guy, okay? My undergraduate degree was in humanity. I was reading books, right? Not analyzing data or crunching metrics. And the process that GetResponse has created for creating these ads is designed for people who have no technical expertise or technical background. So if you can use a keyboard and type letters onto the screen, then you'll be set. And from there, you can only improve. Practice makes perfect. And as you improve and you iterate and you look at that data, you will be able to make this work and you will be able to get results. There is a question, I believe, let's see. Does the privacy policy have to be a whole page? It does need to be a dedicated URL with your privacy policy. So many websites have a privacy policy, have a terms of service, have some level of agreement that you can just link to. Again, if not, there are boilerplate copies that you can just simply find online and then create your own specific privacy page. It needs to be comprehensive enough to provide assurance to the user, and that's pretty much a summary of what you need to have on your privacy page. Okay, checking on more questions here. There are a lot of questions, so I apologize for stammering. I'm trying to select the best one. Okay, Robert, again, thank you for your question. I've been assigned a Google Ads account advisor from Google. Is it wise to follow the advice received from the Google Ads account advisor, or are they just taking more of my ad money? Now, I've selected this question because I've seen variations on this theme throughout the Q&A thread. And I'm actually going to choose to answer this question since Romain cannot do so impartially. But since I am not a team member at Google, nor employed by Google, nor receiving compensation from Google, I'm going to answer this question because I too have worked with account advisors. The simple answer is, obviously, Google is interested in taking more of your ad money. Google is a for-profit business. They are in the business of accepting money in exchange for a service. However, I do recommend that you take their advice. They're not trying to scam you. Google Ads is not a scam. Google Ads is a legitimate and ethical way of paying for people to visit your website, to purchase your product, etc. So the Google Ads account advisors are actually very knowledgeable. I've had great experience working with a variety of these advisors over the years. And the advice that they give, especially when it comes to the technical side of things and additional optimization, it's a great idea to take their advice. Of course, I would also recommend doing a lot of research because hundreds of independent third-party companies are providing, hey, best practices for Google Ads, best practices for lead extensions. Check out WordStream or check out SEMrush or check out other paid search platforms that are providing advice, that are providing blog articles in depth and detailed that will be able to provide answers. But yeah, go ahead and take that advice. Of course, take it by qualifying it with your own research, but absolutely. Okay. Love the support team. Big reasons to stay with GetResponse. Thank you, Angela. Your support team is priceless. Many thanks, Marlene. Great responses. Great for non-tech types. Again, thank you, Angela. Let's see. More questions here. Google Ads, Shri. Google Ads are not included in your current plan. Jakob, do you want to comment on that?
Sure. So any paid customer, so someone that have like the account that he's paying for, should have access to paid ads, whereas Facebook and Google Ads. If you don't have such, please contact the customer success team and we'll help you, because maybe there's like some specific type of account that's were missed. But as far as I know, if you are not a free trial user, you should have access to it.
Okay. And Jakob, what about Max customers?
Max customers, that's still to come. We are working on it because there are some tweaks that we need to do, but it should be like in a few months probably.
Okay, good. Now, David and others are asking about targeting. David specifically by age, others by country. Romain, can you comment on the targeting options that we have for these lead form extensions?
Yeah, I mean, so maybe something to clarify. It's an extension to a search ads, okay? So you do Google Ads already, okay? So the lead format is an extension to the ad, okay? So you have your text ads, and as we show you at the beginning of the webinar, and then you're adding that extension to generate leads, okay? And the way it works when it comes to targeting, that is overall for Google Ads. It's not necessarily for the extension, right? It's just an addition, the extension to the text ads, okay? So when it comes to targeting, you can definitely look at the location, right? So that could be, let's see, a city and country, a region, a lander in Germany, a state in US, right? You can even like by zip code, you can define a radius. That's one way to do it. You can define as well the time. So although we recommend to always display your ads to have like basically an ongoing presence online. But let's say, for instance, you close on the weekend for whatever reason, right? So you don't want to take any call, you don't want to take any lead from the form, right? You can just like decide not to display during that specific period of time, right? You can as well use some demographic element that obviously we do not disclose. These are basically, let's say, amplification and estimation from Google, right? Based on the users that are signed in with the Google Ads account, mostly Android users, right? Which is the most used operating system globally, as you know. So that would be, for instance, you want to decide is it the female, male? Do you want to go with, I don't know, 20 years old or like more like 50 years old, right? You can do that as well. right? So there is a lot of, let's say, option here. The most common one, I would recommend as well, do not go too deep. Like, do not narrow too much, because otherwise you're going to have nothing. Just go with the most important one is the location. That is key, right? Because if you are, I don't know, like in Poland, for instance, you only operate in Poland with Polish, you don't want to target Germany or like Spain in Spanish, right? No way, right? So I would say the location one, it is key. Yeah.
Good. Thank you for that comprehensive answer, Romain. I'm going to address two questions, and then I'm going to address a more in-depth question. First of all, a lot of people are asking about the recording. Yes, it will be available on demand. You can watch this at any time. It's going to be downloaded. Secondly, a lot of questions surrounding the privacy policy. What if you don't have a website, or what does it need to say? Okay, your privacy policy does not come from GetResponse, and it does not come from Google. It is your own privacy policy. Google privacy policy examples, you should find some boilerplate copy that you can use, that you can add to your site. What if you don't have a site? Well, it's simple. Create a landing page on GetResponse. It's simple to do. A couple of 3 clicks, copy, paste, you're done. And you'll be able to have a landing page with a specific URL dedicated to that example, dedicated to that privacy page. We're having a question that is from Steve. It's persistent. Thank you, Steve, for your persistence. If a great number of people are doing this, won't all the people with less money just be throwing their money away? Romain, would you care to comment on that?
Well, so to be very honest, this is why you need, some advice from a partner like GetResponse. I mean, you can do it by yourself on Google, but that's kind of hard to know where you should display your ads, when, against which competitor, right? So you would need some advice to do that. So I guess you have the right person to do that. That's one thing. The second thing is the web. It's massive. It's pretty much unlimited. Right. I mean, you have millions of users out there, millions of prospects out there, right? It's very much about, defining your marketing goals and targeting the right audience, right? So yes, you're right. At some point, you might encounter some competition on Google with like larger players, but there's space for everyone, right? The larger player, they're not everywhere. They're not stupid to waste their money. They're doing the same thing as you're doing, like very targeting and narrowing the strategy. They just have more money overall, but I mean they're not going to be everywhere. So there's place for everyone, and there's some specific keywords that they're not there. Your offering is different, right? If you do a good job, you're going to have a good quality of your ads, so that will help you as well to have a better ranking on Google. So basically paying less, right? And again, there is smart bidding behind it. Basically, there is a machine learning technology of Google, collecting these signals and make it basically actually it works, driving better performance for you, right? So you don't have to change every day where I want to appear, my headline, my ad copy, my form, right? Google is basically optimizing that in the back end for you.
Yeah. And I definitely can attest to that, not being on the advertising side of this, having used Google ad campaigns for as much as $20,000 a day down to $1,000 a month. There are ways to get your ad in front of the right customers without spending an arm and a leg, as long as you're targeting in the correct way. For example, and I'm going to pick something completely random. Let's talk about a product, a brick and mortar product. If you're selling Nike tennis shoes, right? Great product. Okay. You want people to come into your brick and mortar store. Well, you're not going to bid on terms like tennis shoes or Nikes. You're going to want to bid on something like men's large size Nike shoes, Max Torch. Okay. We're getting into model, we're getting make, and we're getting into brand. And then you can actually specify even further to your locale, to your language. And by that time, you've created a much better targeting process that will allow your ads to be seen by the right people and get click-throughs from the right audience. So that's a little bit of a point on what Romain said. Now, we are having a lot of questions, and what I'd like to do perhaps is in a follow-up webinar or in a discussion or maybe even in a blog article, we will address some of these questions with more specificity. Because we're out of time and I want to allow some courtesy to those of you who need to go, we're going to end the discussion now. But I do want to thank you all very much for attending. Again, whether you're live and have been asking questions, interacting, thank you very much for your thoughtful questions. Thank you to those of you who also have participated with your insights and adding additional comments. It's been a joy to spend this past hour with you. I wish you all the best, and the support team at GetResponse is standing by to help you in any way that we can. Thank you all.